Hello everyone, my name is Aerielle and I am a first-year student in fashion technology. Working as a student sustainability architect over this past year, I've had the opportunity to work on and help with the research conference, which was an amazing chance to learn all about sustainability and its increasing social dimension. I've watched so many presentations on things like eco-anxiety and consumer behavior within Gen Z, which are both particularly interesting because I have a significant interest for both fashion and sustainability and bringing those two together. And it was really interesting to see research that reflected what you see in your daily life. So for example, a lot of my peers and friends share this sentiment to increase sustainability and conserve the environment. However, this opposes their consumer behaviors. You know, how many times do people tell you, I've ordered like 3 things off of Amazon today? So many people do that, including my peers and the people that surround me. So just seeing that represented and spoken of in this research conference is really encouraging for both fashion and sustainability. And it also reminds me of some of the work that I have done previously in my academic career and the conversations happening in sustainable fashion today. So currently, fashion is at a place where sustainability is getting more attention in the sense that people are like, oh, this is more than the environment. You know, this is more than just conserving things and picking the right materials. It's about how we treat others. You know, how are opportunities represented? Are they equally represented? Is there equal access and opportunity? Is there more of a diverse representation of people around the table when it comes to creating the future and making better decisions that will impact millions of people? And specifically, when I was listening to a podcast called Unspun, which is a fashion industry podcast that I highly recommend, the speaker, who is named Christian Smith, was speaking on why the industry has to move forward and how we can do that. And one of the ways that he said that the industry, and not just fashion, and other sectors as well, would move forward in terms of social sustainability is having uncomfortable conversations. You know, it's not the easiest thing in the world to bring up these topics, or the lightest thing in terms of what's happened over these past few years. You know, we've had so much cultural and national tensions, especially with the pandemic now. So this kind of relates to, well, the idea of uncomfortable conversations relates to what I've done this past year with a couple of group mates in a fashion branding class. So we conducted a case study where we examined Gucci's cultural appropriation in the years of 2018 and 2019. And this all started when their 2018 autumn-winter show displayed a couple of items that people pointed out to be representative of cultural appropriation. And the cultures that they appropriated included the Black community and the Sikh religious community. So Gucci displayed a turtleneck that, when you flip up the excess fabric, displayed a red mouth around the black fabric, and people pointed out that this resembled blackface. Another thing that they presented within the show was a turban that you place on your head, and it was huge, elaborate, brightly colored, and people also pointed this out as an appropriation of the Sikh turban, which has deep religious significance. And now this spurred extreme consumer outrage as people pointed out these two garments in addition to other garments and accessories. And key members of those two communities that I highlighted also spoke out on their discontent towards Gucci. Dapper Dan, who is a collaborator of Gucci's for a while now and who is located in Harlem, New York, spoke out about his pride of being a Black man and how Gucci has disappointed him in that pride. The Sikh community also had religious leaders speaking out on their discontent of Gucci kind of creating an elaborate fashion accessory, which was severely overpriced, and almost making fun of their religion and their deep faith. So in response to these things, Gucci kind of went with the blackface incident at the forefront, and they issued a quick formal apology on Instagram, as well as the CEO, Marco Bizzarri, also attending a meeting in Harlem with Dapper Dan and other Black community representatives. As a result of this meeting, Gucci released a 4-step plan to increase their commitment towards diversity and inclusion. And this included an expansion of their Changemakers initiative with a scholarship fund, education program, and community grant, as well as an appointment of a global diversity, inclusion, and equity director. Now, they did fulfill all these steps, and they explained that these steps were in efforts of creating a learning curve for Gucci and preventing these mistakes in the future. And my group did conclude that it was a successful brand turnaround. Gucci is no longer openly and widely seen as a cultural appropriating fashion brand. You know, they're doing pretty well for themselves at this point in time, with all things considered. However, it did bring up questions of what does it take for us to represent cultural appropriation or any offense or any inequality within us or within our community and our surroundings. You know, if it took a $1 billion industry or a $1 billion company by itself to have such an extreme incident as this, for people to, over social media, to promote boycotts and backlash and severe threats to the company in order for them to pay attention to this, you know, what does it take for us to represent inequality and injustice in our lives? You know, social sustainability is not just about big corporations. It's not just about entire value chains or organizations that we feel so displaced from. Like Christian Smith said, we need to bring up these uncomfortable conversations. It's about us. And I encourage others, and I plan to do this in my future work and my future research, bringing up those conversations. You know, in your jobs, in your positions today, I encourage you to sit at the table wherever you have your meetings, your lunches, sit with people that you surround yourself with, even if you don't have a position. Look around you. Who is represented? Are there opportunities that are more available to others? Are there certain factors that are not considered or taken out of when considering new hiring opportunities or new initiatives within organizations and businesses? You know, it's these uncomfortable conversations that are going to spur us forward. And, you know, these uncomfortable settings, yeah, we don't like them. And as a result of their avoidance, things like huge cultural appropriation mishaps can happen. And I think we can avoid that. There is no need for us to wait and to sit on the sidelines and watch people further their oppression, to further their position in going against others and pointing fingers. We're better than that. And social sustainability calls us to be better than that. And I hope that from this presentation or from this little speech, you are encouraged to take this within you wherever you go, wherever you work, you study, you volunteer, you live. Look around you, see what's around you, be involved in those conversations. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the research conference, and thank you very much. Leave no one behind.